Hello. How's
Hello.
everybody doing? All right, so we were discussing Qatar, and I explained that in my channel I had voiced my opinions about what America needs to do in Qatar. And Uri was like, well, when I was about to start and explain what my plan is, Uri was blurting out my plan just on his own. Wait, am I stuck? Uli, are you here with me? Is it my side? Is it your side? Let me see. Hello.
Sorry, I lost you for a bit.
Yeah. Is it mine? Is it my side?
Hey.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
I can hear you.
All right. I don't know which one of us got stuck.
Probably me. The internet is absolutely terrible on my side.
Well, I was explaining that I was about to tell you what I think should be done with Qatar and what I told my people here in this channel that, what I honestly think is a solution to Qatari money that is corrupting the world. And before I even, said the words, you blurted out the my solution as if it's yours, sir. Anyway, the funny thing is that after that, we looked at each other and we were like, oh, that's the obvious solution, right? That's the only plan. And I said, listen, you would be surprised, but nobody else voiced it. Nobody else voices it, not even on my channel. That's my experience. That like when you ask them, they all know that Qatar is evil. They all know that Qatar is awful. And yet nobody would say the obvious, the obvious next step to taking care of Qatar. And
so
now
I haven't heard most of what you said right now. Sorry.
Oh no. I said that on my channel when I said what is the solution to Qatar's spending money around the world on evil, it was like I said like there is a psychological problem in the West where the most simple solution for some reason doesn't come to mind, which I feel me saying that explained is saying that surprised you.
Why doesn't the government of Italy just arrest all the mafia?
It's not a thing.
I think it is because what is organized crime? It is when you have crime which is very deeply intertwined with the ruling system. The mafia is part of the government. It is part of the ruling class. So in the same way, Qatar, the Emirates, Bahrain, etc., they're all, at this point, they're part of the ruling class in the West. They are not something outside of it. They are very deeply intertwined.
But they don't, unlike the mafia, the mafia has, the mafia is different. The mafia is different. The mafia has clinics. The mafia has supermarkets. The mafia has civil facilities. The mafia, they do those things as well, so that they could, that dismantling them would leave a lot of people without any solutions. Qatar doesn't have that in the West.
I would argue that Qatar has a lot more of it. They fund
no, because they don't have
academia.
They do
the political campaigns of those people.
But all the people that they put are not them, right? They don't have that manpower. They have money power, not manpower.
The mafia also doesn't have a lot of physical power. It also has mostly the power of connections. It's not even money; it's connections. Which go very deep.
But I don't think Qataris are the same. I don't think there are enough Qataris in the world to explain, right?
It's about connections. They are part of something.
I think it's all excuses, and as long as Qatar exists as a sovereign entity, America is a loser.
I would argue that Qatar is a threat to American sovereignty.
Because they're gay. Because America is gay.
I cannot endorse that statement, because again,
What are
America is
gay?
something huge. It's not like one
And mostly
entity.
gay.
America is a lot of different
Different
groups,
shades of gay. All gay.
and I don't want to talk like that.
You don't wanna, but that's how Americans talk. So that's how I know. That's every time I hear Americans talk about something they don't like, it's gay.
The purpose of America is not to make our life easy. Their purpose is not to serve our interests. And again, like there is no America as one unit. America is lots of different parties, groups, interest groups, lobbies.
All gay. All gay. Everyone is
So
gay.
there's nothing
Even
to
the
be
most
gained
right
from
wing
just.
are not smart enough to just say the obvious that Qatar shouldn't exist, take their money, take the oil, and that's it.
Oh, a lot of people say that.
Nobody says
But
that. Who
it's
says
interesting
that?
because
Who?
huh?
One person who says that. Who says that?
No one said it openly, but like when
I
you talk to
love
people.
the idea. Who?
Just scroll Twitter. People say it all the time.
Who said it?
In conversations, you don't have any official people who say that, because obviously that would be declaration of war, which they wouldn't declare. To just do it if they decide to do it.
They just need to stick the American flag on the ground, and that's it. It's ours now.
Right, but don't forget that America went to war with Iraq when Iraq invaded Kuwait, because that is America still in some way protects a certain world order, and that would be completely throwing that world order into the garbage. And I don't think they're willing to do that yet.
The world order is should be already thrown to the garbage. Now, listen, we're just voicing it right now. It's gonna take a decade for people to digest and accept it and then do something about it. Actually, with social media today and everything just moves way faster. Maybe it will take a year or so for people to accept reality.
Yeah,
but
I
we
think
have
the
to
way
say
to
we have to
convince
prepare the
people is
ground.
to tell them why it's good for them, not to insult them.
Oh, right. Does it go well with girls, Uli? Everybody knows that you're supposed to insult those who you're trying to attract first. I saw a lot of incel dating tips in my life.
Well, that's where they're incel. In my humble opinion, if you want to sell something to someone, you don't come to them and tell him, "I need you to buy that." Okay, because they don't know you, don't owe you anything. If you want to sell something to someone, you tell him, "Okay, you should buy it because it's good for you. I'm doing you a favor." So
listen. Literally, you have everything. You have a largest base in Qatar. They don't have their own anything. They're just slave owners. They just extracting oil from the ground. What do you need? Just
what you need is
the only thing is a flag on the ground, and you need the people to be aware of the fact that the only reason the Qatari royal system exists is because of embezzlement and bribe, and because the elites get those benefits out of them.
Okay, but the way you do that, you can't do shortcuts. You need to have a system of campaigns, like what was done against Israel in academia, in the streets.
Oh my God! Let's do a fund me. Conquer Qatar fund me campaign.
So
propaganda.
you need
we need
demonstrations.
No, listen,
you need in universities.
Aren't
you need
we
to have
doing
unions.
that here? Don't we talk about cultural subversion and stuff like that? Shouldn't we thinking what's the kind of
the Israeli Foreign Ministry wanted to do a campaign against Qatar, and the government banned it because it didn't want to antagonize Qatar at the time. There have been several articles about it. There was a plan to have a series of exposés and organized demonstrations.
Let's
and it was never done.
Elon Musk.
First of all, you need to have students who will do that. These things always start from students.
Okay. That's not hard. Let's start with the students. I know there are ways to reach students.
And, even if there is a small demonstration in Israel that will, reach the papers, that people say, okay, students in Israel protested protest Qatari subversion, protest Qatari racism, protest Qatari, money, Qatari evil, Qatari involvement in terrorism. I have never seen an anti-Qatar demonstration anywhere. Like you have a lot of people talking about it, but I have never seen someone standing in the street with a sign, screw Qatar. Qatar is evil. So
Okay,
I think
let's
this
start
is where
with
it has
that.
to start.
I
Because
agree. Simple, build it up. I love that. Okay, so we need to do a demonstration against Qatar.
Yes,
because
so
they suck.
basically what Qatar has been doing against Israel for years, this is what Israel should do. Israel should, rather Israelis, not the state of Israel, Israelis should support such movements,
no.
should support...
It's not Israel, it's not the government. We're just using and abusing
Yes.
our free speech here.
And something that it's very important, it shouldn't be done as a response to something. It should be something regular. Like, we are going to demonstrate against Qatar, not because they did something to us, but because screw Qatar. Let's have a riot in front of the Qatari embassy. Let's stand in front of the Qatari embassy with signs
I don't think we have
about
the
the genocide. No, in the United States, there are Jews everywhere. There are people everywhere, and I don't think it's just a Jewish concern. I think it's very harmful to all the West.
It's a worldwide concern.
So you can have a protest of 20 people, very small protest in front of the Qatari embassy about the genocide of the Jews in Palestine in 1929. Stuff like that, and just
nobody
creates
cares
connection.
I want to have a. Can I start with
if you constantly push it? If you constantly push it, people will start to care simply because it will be there.
Stop slavery, Qatar.
For example, you need to attack from all directions because you never know what will stick.
No, but it would people know that there is some sort of slavery there. I think you can push that button. And also yeah, okay. Ganch here is an agent of demoralization, and he says, "Girl, I hope you don't take yourself too seriously. I hope you got some lube for when the Arabs come, and that after you gave the upper cheeks, you have prepared your cheeks down there as well. So thank you. Losers are welcome to exit the chat. All right, you don't have to be here. I don't like loser mentality in any way, shape, or form. All right, sweethearts? Okay, and I'm a woman. I don't want any guy more feminine than me here. All right? Great.
By the way, that's another thing you can lead an attack on Qatar again. Look at these guys. They're wearing dresses. They're so, they always act in the shadows. You can, if you want to appeal to the American right, you can put an accent on how, effeminate they are, how manipulative they are, how they act from the shadows. We don't know what is going to work. We don't know what will,
someone pick that angle up. I agree, but someone else. It's not for me, honestly. But yeah, I like that. I agree with you. As somebody be the secretary, write all the points down because we're gonna run with it. We have to ruin Qatar. Fuck Qatar.
Yes, but the thing is, Bring Them Home Now was a very successful campaign because it was built like an army. They had these big posters, professionally printed, and they had these professional organizers, and obviously Qatari money was involved. We can trace the organizations which had links to Qatar and to this movement. And most Israelis don't support it, but that was the biggest movement on the street. So the response to it has to be, I think, similar. And it's going to be an uphill battle because the media is going to be against us. The public needs to learn, but I do believe it's possible. I don't think it's hopeless.
I don't think it's hopeless either. I'm trying to get myself into university right now. So that's a good way. But also, I'll run this idea. Yeah.
When I was in university, there was an anti-war protest, and I wanted to organize a pro-war protest, and I'm not a good organizer, so I just went around the grass. And these were English and history students, a very leftist bunch. And I said, let's do a counter demonstration. We don't have signs. We don't have. Let's just go outside and say slogans. And I managed to gather about 10 people, and only me and another guy were Jewish. Everyone else was Druze or Christian. And there was one guy who I discovered was Arab on that day. Like, I knew him for a long time, and his name was Avi. And he looked like he spoke perfect Hebrew. And only then did I realize that he wore a cross that was always under his shirt, and his name was actually Ibrahim. So that is
those fuckers. It's so funny. Where did you go to school?
Tel Aviv University.
Oh, I went to Technion, and it was such a joke. It's like, oh, the Arabs know how to pretend to be Jewish so good when they wanted to.
Yeah.
They were good. Yeah, sometimes they did it, but like,
I think very few people know that one of our national heroes, Amos Yarkoni, is an Arab Bedouin.
with a name like that, did
He changed his name. No, he was Muslim. He never pretended to be anything else, but he changed his name because his original name, well, nobody could pronounce it, I guess.
What was it?
Abed al-Majid Khidr. Or Haidar. I'm not sure how I pronounce it. So, he joined the IDF. Well, there wasn't yet IDF. He joined the Palmak back then. And I think like everyone there spoke Yiddish, and like, I can't pronounce Ein. There is no way I'm going to pronounce that name. Fine. My name is Amos. And no, he didn't convert. He was an Arab.
He didn't change the Ein part.
Yeah, but you know how those Ashkenazim would pronounce it. Amos.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. All right.
So I really think it would be good even if Israel had anti-Qatar demonstrations. You don't have that in Israel. Don't have any protests against them. Yeah. Start small, and from that, I think you can build to what you were talking about. Just not cheat. Don't try to do shortcuts. It doesn't really work.
You know what's the problem? That people on the right, we hate demonstrating.
Yes, and it's a huge weakness. We also hate. We're individualists. We're not collectivists.
Yes. It's so much.
So we like to meet and be angry and complain.
But on a one-on-one,
we have like spontaneous demonstrations. Yes.
So like more than 2 people, it's already too exhausting.
Like the biggest thing I managed to organize was 10 people.
Wow, minyan.
Yeah. Except, 8 of them were Muslims, but, never mind. There were 10 people. They were Israeli patriots.
It's okay. How do we make it happen? You know what? I feel like we have to make it happen. We have to do it just as, a POC, just to prove concept. So what universities
hopefully you need someone with a PR company who can help
you
arrange it, because
you
need to print slides.
No, Uri, choose 2 universities. I choose 2 universities. I choose Jerusalem.
I would go to where it would be. I think I'd go with like the most provocative, maybe Haifa, because it was like the most leftist.
Nobody knows about Haifa University. Nobody would care if they do anything.
No, but as soon as it will become violent, and as soon as it will become violent,
okay, I give you Tel Aviv and Ben Gurion.
That's an option.
I don't know. I don't think anyone would care about Haifa University.
No, but it has a lot of Arabs,
having any type
they
of
will be very unhappy about it.
Yeah, but having any type of like demonstrations in the Technion is it's hard.
Yeah, because people study real things there, so they have to actually work.
Yeah. So it's very like, if you bring something political, they throw you out of the roof. Actually, anything that has to do with humanities, they show you how much they don't care.
Yes, and students who study humanities, they have so much free time. They have to demonstrate. They just to do something with their free time.
Okay, Uri. So you get Ben Gurion. I'm not joking, by the way. In Tel Aviv, I do.
You send me to Beersheba.
Well, you don't want it.
It's like an
You wanna
exile. It's
do
like sending you to
Ariel
Siberia.
instead? You want to do Ariel?
That's close. By the
You
way,
want
in
Ariel?
Ariel, I think it would be the easiest to organize. Or
Okay, so do
yeah,
Ariel and
sure.
Tel Aviv. Okay. And I do Ivrit, like the Hebrew University in Jerusalem, and Ben Tchoni.
It's a shame that neither of us is a student by now.
Yeah, just that we can pretend, we can infiltrate. I've been asked if I'm a student once or twice. So
Maybe in the dark, people can mistake me for a student, but I get more and more white hairs. So
you can be like a teacher assistant.
yeah, that would be more believable.
Also, like, you know how many
also,
student agitators there were caught in Columbia and Harvard
I know,
and so on.
and that is something that Israel needs to create, and you need for that PR companies. Bring Them Home Now had several PR companies
They changed it,
big international PR companies.
Well, because
Change
it
in
was
what way?
paid by USAID, and now they're running out of money. I
Yes,
talked
exactly.
to someone there. They're running out of money. It made me so happy to hear it. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you. At least you did
yes,
one
and
thing.
that money didn't go directly to them. It went like through several mediators, and part of that money was connected to Qatar, by the way. And these organizations were connected to Qatar.
Oh, they're running out of money. You know how happy it made me when somebody from inside told me that? I was like,
so basically, what you
he
need to
was
do
complaining, but my heart expanded with.
Yes, and notice
and I
that
felt like they're connected to the.
Notice how their movement has shrunk. Notice how they're far less noticeable now.
Yes, I know.
And
because they don't have the money.
basically, what you need to do is to tell people that all the bad things that people say about Jews are true about Qatar.
Here, Bookmas is asking who is running out of money. Explain away.
Those international leftist organizations, in part the ones who fund those protests which destabilize Israel. You have like the purple organizations like Omdim Beyachad. They're basically Marxists who enjoy foreign funding, and they organize
from the beginning. They organize all the
activities.
protests with the only one goal in mind is to undermine the government and undermine the Israel's ability to do anything in the world.
And create
and they use
in
any
society.
cause they can, but they use whatever cause. So whatever cause can create conflict, they subvert it and use it.
Yes, and Israel not just Israel, Western civilization, people who care about the West must start doing that themselves.
I know.
You need to fuel waves of protests against Qatar, against China in universities, in front of embassies. You need to show their aggression against Western civilization. You need to have PR companies who just work 24/7 to show how evil and harmful Qatar is. It must become like something cool, something which is part of the discourse. You can't just switch it.
Yeah, but I think we can start one step at a time and then figure it out.
But like, I'm
but
very
also, like, I feel like we skipped the part like who is running out of money. So the whole campaign, bringing them home now campaign, is that campaign that is running out of money. Thank goodness. Though they you know how, but I think people inside that campaign caught on that they're being used a little bit because they changed the slogan to something way better.
Yes, but notice that there's like a certain style, the yellow ribbon, the yellow signs. Someone, a professional designer, created this style for them, this design.
No, yeah, of course, but I'm talking about like the fact that they changed their slogan from "Bring Them Home Now" to the list, to the last hostage, which is a lot more open to.
It's interesting that
eliminate them until the last one is done.
They say everyone at once. So this means they refuse to any kind of partial deal. but they also demand a deal. So that's like a built-in paradox.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Should we talk more about that? Should we talk about, I don't know what's going on with the conference. Okay, so last time, do you feel that there is something that we didn't cover about Yuri Berzamov's lecture that we should?
Unfortunately, last time we saw a live demonstration of the harm he did.
Yeah.
But I think that it connects interesting to our conversation right now, because Qatar is also a good example of subversion, and we can actually trace that money. Their main weapon is the universities, and they spend, I'm not sure, but I think almost $5 billion in the last 20 years.
I think way more. And also there is reported money and there is unreported money as well.
Yes, I'm talking just about official money spent on American universities, just the universities.
I actually have this. I should. Yeah.
250 million on lobbying, and if you look at countries like China, Saudi Arabia, they spend huge amount. Like, everyone talks about the Jewish lobby. The Jewish lobby is tiny, and there's almost no Israeli lobby. So those are things that need to be flooded.
Too many wars to war with, and we're too small of a group.
And also, they are connected to the Richardson Center, which is something that people didn't talk about, a very questionable organization. We spoke earlier about US aid. So there's like, it's not just, people talking. They're like entire organizations, professionals who come to work every day. And their job is basically to serve this political agenda. And the reason why the government and so forth doesn't act against them is because they are built into it. It's like, if you look at Britain the previous century, you had Kim Philby, the famous traitor, right?
Who?
Kim Philby of the Cambridge Five, like the most famous British traitor. Okay,
really?
So
oh my God, an uneducated mobster.
So you had Kim Philby, and he was a high-ranking British official, and he was also a Soviet spy, along with 4 other people. They were all highly educated from Cambridge, from the elites, from the aristocracy. And now I don't want to go too much into their story, but here's the interesting thing. Kim Philby, who was a traitor, his father was also a traitor. And Kim Philby got a high position in British intelligence while his father was actively helping the Nazis. He was, going around the United States and giving these defeatist lectures, trying to convince the American people not to go to the war, that Germany was unwinnable. And later, his father became a Muslim and became the advisor of the King of Saudi Arabia, and was one of the most important anti-Zionist voices. So this person who betrayed his society twice while he was an active traitor, his son got a high position in the British government, because they, despite everything, they are one of the boys. They are one of us. They are from that circle. And if they betray the government, if you or I would do those things, would go to prison 40 years. But if they do those things, they just have a different opinion, and they're allowed to do that. So this is the class of people which allows Qatar to have its influence and to exist in this way. And if you look at Robert Bloch, he was accused also of treason. He was a traitor, yes, he was a traitor. He was also accused of the same things as Kim Philby at about the same time. But Robert Bloch was not a British aristocrat. He was Jewish, a British Jew. And he got 40 years in prison right away, instead of, being allowed to sleep out. So there is a class of people
which are not Jews. The Jews always get punished in caught.
Who are very much above the law, and you have that in the United States as well. Like this in the CIA, we had so many people who were delivering information to Iran, so many people who were cooperating with Egypt, who were cooperating with Qatar, and they were never really punished. It was like, you know, that's not nice. Don't do that again.
Yeah. All right, let's see. I want to see the crap that going on with whatever is Trump is saying. Though I feel like he's an okay guy, you know. I always feel like, thank goodness, we can always trust the Arabs to fuck up.
I haven't read his plan yet. I mostly seen
because
some
they only
reports.
just announced it. It was live when we were speaking. By the way, I want to kind of let me open this. You know what? There are a couple of super chats I want to read. Thank you, everybody who's supporting. Charlie Lemoyne. Useful idiots are not stupid. They are highly intelligent and aware of circumstances. Just saying, naming things wrong just adds to the world's unhappiness. Scams. What do you think?
You know, in the Soviet Union, they didn't call them useful idiots. They called them shit eaters, говноеды. Because, yes, they're not stupid. They are intelligent. Many of them are malicious. But the point is that they eat the ideological shit that China and Russia didn't believe in themselves. Kim Philby was an honest communist. The people in Russia who gave him orders were not honest communists. They knew it was bullshit. But he happily ate that shit. He was an idealist. So the people in Qatar, the people in Russia, the people in China, they're not idealists. The one who work for them are. So they're not stupid, but they are delusional.
And so, you know what it reminds me? Like, why are they stupid? And like, it's like ties into the delusional. These people think that they're gonna be honored when, if their vision of the world comes to fruition, when they're gonna be the bottom of the barrel, if not like the first ones to get.
They will be the first to be shot.
I thought about saying that when I did a reaction to Nick Fuentes. And Nick Fuentes, right? So he's like a white supremacist guy. So it's so funny listening to him. So Nick Fuentes, who is a white supremacist guy, is Irish, Mexican, Italian, which is in the white supremacy pyramid. They are subhumans, right? You have the dogs, Jews, and blacks. But then you have like the Irish, Italians, and Mexican, like they are the subhuman species. Not yet, not fully human. Those are white, light-skinned, right? And so, like, why support a theory that you're gonna be the bottom of the barrel of? Why? It just doesn't make sense. Also, I think his own crowd would turn on him because I don't think he's as psychotic. Like it's so funny to see those far right people in the United States, because compare them to Sinwar. Right? Like, what do they like? I mean, the far left, like Hassan Paker and stuff like that. I think a lot of them like are terrorists, like are close to the level of what terrorists would actually do, and probably are part of those organizations anyway. 100%. Like person like Chen Koiger, like. But the on the other spectrum, like you have the, you know, the white.
I think that
compare them to Sinwars, compare them to people.
White supremacy is a collectivist movement, so I don't think you can really call them right. Like, if you actually read Hitler or read Mussolini, at no point did they identify as right wing, and they didn't consider themselves right wing. So I don't know why we call these people right, or why they associate with the right. They're collectivists. They don't really believe in the free market. They're not right wing. There's nothing right about them. And racism is neither left nor right. Racism is racism. Like, you know, Che Guevara was very racist, and he was very far to the left. He identified as left. At no point did he describe himself as anything but left.
Like, I agree that they're kind of like not right. Like, that's not as far. Like, they're not right, obviously. But it's not like this is how they label themselves. Now they are getting labeled.
Also, like, can it really be like far right if you're being funded by a bunch of Bedouin in the desert? Can like really be a white supremacist if you are serving like a Muslim movement? Because Judith Butler she said a very interesting thing. She's this gay Jewish academic, far left, obviously. And first time I read it, I thought she was insane. She said that Hamas and Hezbollah are movements that are on the left that should be considered as part of the global left. And I said, oh my God, like they're very conservative, they're religious, they're fundamentalists. Sorry?
You thought she was wrong?
And yes, like first time I heard it, and after I thought about it, after I was angry for a few hours, I realized that she is absolutely correct. They are part, even though their ideology is fundamentalist, it's conservative, they're like ultra conservatives and ultra nationalists. They are part of the left. So at this point, like when we use left and right, it's just two groups of people. The ideology is no longer important. What's important is just what team are you playing on?
True. Anyway, I was just thinking that like I just think that his own audience would hang him.
Whose?
Like Nick Fuentes. Yeah.
Oh, he's already pissing them off because he's calling them low IQ anti-Semites.
No. But like even if he like I don't like he's young, okay. And I said that he is also like his brain got stunted because if you start social media and being on like talking about your opinions when you're 18, then you never actually learn anything because this is where your brain gets stuck, basically, at that age range.
You get rewarded for saying the same thing and you get punished for saying something else. So like your nervous system protects you from it. Yeah,
so it's like screwed. His brain is screwed, right? But like listen to him talk is like at some point I felt like, listen, like the message that I would have for him as a person is be very aware and scared of your own audience.
I do think that he's like going through some kind of a big change right now because I occasionally listen to his videos for a bit. And his opinions are changing because I think that he's seeing more and more that he's surrounded by absolute idiots. I think he's becoming disgusted with his own audience.
Probably. But the thing is, like, I don't ever think this side of the map, like his audience would get enough power. But if they were to get enough power, this dude is done for.
By the way, if you open Ynet right now, they have a map of the withdrawal Trump proposes, and on that map you see that Gaza loses quite a lot of territory. Don't really see them agreeing to that. Like what he's proposing is something that if I were Hamas, I would not agree to.
Oh no, Hamas are planning to fight and to suicide until the end. You know why? And I explained it to my friend, and I said like, who is Hamas most afraid of?
Who is Hamas most afraid of? I would say just failure, giving up, losing their identity.
No, but who?
Physically? That's a good question. I'd argue that whoever funds them, Qatar, Iran.
I would actually argue that the Gazans themselves. Are you here? Did you hear me, Uri? Hello?
Yeah, sorry, I lost you for a moment.
I love it. Bibi always agrees with the Americans, and I feel like he's like, God will take care of it. Like, yeah, Americans, whatever. Yes.
Sorry, so who are Hamas most afraid of?
I said my theory is that the Gazans themselves.
I don't think they're afraid of them. I think most of Gaza still supports Hamas,
but
even if
why
it's not
would they?
ideological like those people.
Yeah, but why would they support them?
Because they agree with those ideas. Like, also, what else can
Right.
they do?
But what would happen if they stop fighting?
If they stopped fighting, like I'm thinking what they think. I know what will happen, but what do they think will happen? First of all, I think many of them honestly are afraid of a genocide. They think that the only thing that keeps Jews from just killing all of us is Hamas. Otherwise, we would all be killed, because this propaganda is very effective. Others, right now, this is their only income, their only way to get paid, to get respect, to get good conditions, is the money they get from Hamas. If Hamas goes away, they find themselves without income, without influence. They're just people.
Yeah,
And
actually, I feel like it's that like I the way I position that in my brain is that the Hamas as a movement is the most afraid of its people, and the people in Gaza are most afraid of the Arab Arab Muslim nationhood in general.
I think like most of them are afraid of Israel because again, like they don't have very good access to information.
You think so?
But they are very angry at the Arabs because they see themselves as the spear front of the Arab struggle against the Jews.
Exactly, that's
And
their
most of the Arab
job.
world is like, we're so sympathetic. You're good guys. We support you. Like, are you gonna actually help us? No. Like Al-Sisi said, I'm not going to gamble the lives of Egyptians to get aid into Gaza. He said it explicitly. Like, I'm not going to risk the life of Egyptians for you. We support you, but we're not going to
they are
actually do
sending
anything.
drones with weapons, the Egyptians.
Drones, yes, but aid,
Drones
no.
with aid.
They're sending weapons,
with
they're not
weapons
sending
on them.
food.
Weapons. They're sending weapons on drones.
Yes, that absolutely.
The Egyptians. Assholes.
No, they're happy to have Gaza fight to the death. They just don't want them to have anything to eat.
Yeah, they want to. Yeah, that's the plan. So if this is what the Arab world wants, the Arab world wants the Gazans to fight to the death.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you 100%.
That's what I'm saying, right?
It's a win-win for them.
Yeah.
Because one of the things they're afraid of people of Gaza moving to them. They don't want them to be their neighbors. They saw what happened to Jordan, in Lebanon, in Kuwait, like everywhere where you had the big Palestinian community, instantly everything just blew up.
Yeah, they're awful.
So apparently there's like an official statement from the White House and Bibi.
Let me share it on the screen. Want to read it?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, I have this.
I have it in Hebrew, but
Here.
I'm covering it myself right now, so it's better you read it. I want to familiarize myself because it just came out like.
No, I didn't read it either. Breaking President Trump spells out his plan to end the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It's not going to end up till they're all dead, honestly, but okay. Arab and Muslim countries have committed to demilitarize Gaza. They will decommission the military capabilities of Hamas and all other terror organizations. They will ensure the destruction of all terror infrastructure, including the tunnels and weapons production facilities in Gaza. They will work with a new transitional authority in Gaza. All parties will agree on Israel forces to withdraw in phases. If Hamas doesn't accept, Israel will have the full right and America's backing to end the threat of Hamas. They will establish the Board of Peace, an international oversight body headed by President Trump. Tony Blair will sit on the board. Can we give an honorary membership as a Hamas member to Tony Blair?
Tony Blair lived in Tel Aviv for 5 years. We spoke about the kind of people who are part of it. So he's very much a part.
You know how much the Brits worked hard to save Hamas members?
Almost as hard as our government.
No. They. What do you mean it's hard? Way harder.
I don't know.
Come on,
for 20 years.
No, I mean now, after the war.
after the war?
After
How much
October
time
7th.
did Israel gave them a chance to evacuate, a chance to
No,
move
no, 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 no,
freely,
no.
warn them
So
about?
Israel, was some guy was injured, and Britain basically had pulled him out of Gaza and took him to Qatar.
How many Nukhba terrorists received medical treatment in Israel from Israeli doctors that you and I paid for?
Yeah, that's awful. This is like a.
At
They
first,
do give a lot of intel, though.
they wouldn't even take them to military hospitals. At first, they would take them to civilian hospitals. They would take Nukhba terrorists to Israeli hospitals to receive treatment. That's insane. I don't understand why the doctors said, no, I won't do that. I refuse to do that.
Because they can't. You have the hypocrite itself. You have to treat everyone.
Okay, but that oath also says you're not allowed to do abortions. It says that you have to give half your money to your teacher. It says that you're not allowed to reveal your secrets. You don't get to pick and choose. That oath says a lot of things.
Well,
you want to go by the oath, go by the entire oath.
I don't think they did, but that's the question. They only take that part when they make an oath. I'm sure. I don't know if they actually make an oath.
Also, the oath says do no harm. I think
but
it's pretty harmful to...
The Nukhba terrorist is how we get the intel. How we started with nothing on Gaza. And they sing, those assholes sing. They have a policy when they get caught, it's agreed upon everyone that you can say everything. Like it's a known thing. They don't resist.
Yeah, sure. But if I was a doctor in a hospital, I would take him to a military base here in my hospital, my civilian hospital. I'm not going to treat an enemy combatant.
I'm sure there was, you said they stopped at some moment, at some point.
Yeah, but the one who didn't say no, they should be ashamed of themselves. So from what I'm looking at the proposal right now. And okay, so I want to go over some points and have some notes, and I would like to hear your opinion as well.
All right. So I want to see if I can. Can you share on your end?
I can send you a link, and it has a map, but because it's in Hebrew, but the map is in English. I sent you the link in the studio chat.
Right. Oh, it's fine.
So it has a map, a very interesting map.
Yeah. All right. You know what I can do? Which is
also,
life prison. Oh, okay. I guess this is a prisoner sentenced to life, because I don't see the Hebrew original. Do you have the Hebrew original?
Sorry, what?
I'm saying, is it life, 250 life prisoners? Is it living prisoners, or is it prisoners sentenced to life? What was the original?
Prisoners sentenced to life in prison, yes. The most hardcore.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So from what's written in Hebrew, there are some very strange things in this proposal. Okay. First of all, it says that within 72 hours, Hamas is going to release all the hostages, and only then will Israel release the Arab prisoners. And it's going to be 250 prisoners given a life sentence and 1,700 Gazan prisoners taken after October 7th.
So then, probably.
Just, militants, yes. So the thing is, I don't really see how Hamas will agree to, first to release all the Israelis and then assume
why
Israel will release all the Arabs.
Why would they make those press conferences and do those?
Maybe it's art of the deal when, you say something outrageous, and then the other side can say, wait, that's too much. But, you say, okay, it's too much. You know what? Okay, I'm going to compromise.
They don't agree to anything anyway. Or here, end of Gaza.
So another thing is, like, when you show the map right now, it says that even after the final withdrawal, they still lose a lot of territory. That's it looks like about 15% of their territory, maybe 10%, something like that. So
Yeah.
I can't imagine them agreeing to that, because that's the opposite of their entire personality, like their whole goal, like the whole idea of, you know, not giving 1 inch of land to the enemy. So they released the Israeli prisoners, hostages, without like instantly getting anything in return, and they lose territory. And also Hamas themselves said that they just heard about it for the first time. They were not familiarized with this offer. So I think it's a PR stunt. I think it's, you know, art of the deal thing.
That would do what? It's like you be prepared. It's like that's it. It's all. That's what you get. Say yes
It's
or try to.
you ask for too much. You ask for too much, and the other side tells you it's too much, and then you say, okay, I'm willing to compromise. It's basically, it's the idea to create the illusion of compromise without actually compromising, because in advance you ask more than you want. So maybe this is why Trump is doing that.
Wait 1 sec. I don't know what. Like, was there anything else that was interesting in this?
Let's see. Full aid to Gaza, and allowing the UN to distribute again, which means that Hamas will again be able to benefit it. They're going to create like an international peace council, which will be led by Tony Blair, and I know how much you love him.
Do you love him?
Not particularly.
No.
Not particularly.
I thought you loved him. How can you not love this person?
He was. I think he was my neighbor for a short time when I served in Jerusalem, but no.
Really? That's funny.
You know, I admire his ability to suck money out of the British taxpayer and fund his lifestyle. I think everyone in Britain should admire him for that. So basically, they're going to have this peace council that will control Gaza until the Palestinian Authority will finish its reforms and will be able to control Gaza. So at this point, Gaza will be controlled by some vague international body, which is similar to what they did in Yugoslavia with Bosnia and Herzegovina, where they had the European Commission. Even now, the government of Bosnia is not really sovereign, because you have like this European High Commissioner who has a veto right for the decisions of the government. So that's similar to what they did in Bosnia. They will have like Trump will have an economical plan to the advancement of Gaza. Everyone who will want to leave will be allowed to return, but how can you guarantee that? And why would they want to return?
Yeah.
Hamas basically gives its honor word that it will not be part of the government, and we know how much their word is worth. Their word is their bond.
Yeah, the word is worth a lot.
Yes, and Arab countries will give their guarantees that Gaza will not become a threat again. You know, the same countries who armed Gaza to begin with.
And still send drones with ammunition on them. Yeah, and those who rolled in tanks that are against the agreement, like the Camp David agreement, those countries, you know, that are now
those countries. And there will also be an international force called ISF, which will work to keep Gaza demilitarized. And I assume it's something similar to the UN forces in Lebanon. Again, we saw how effective they were.
Super effective. Yeah. Amazing.
So this, and I think, are you familiar with the Sons of Iraq program?
Yes.
So I think they want to do something similar to
the
Sons of Iraq.
But you should explain it anyway. I'm not the only person you talk to right now, Uri.
You are correct. So the Sons of Iraq was basically...
Do I need to remind you that?
Yeah, it's a good idea. So the Sons of Iraq was a program. It was also known, I think, as Al-Sanawa, the Awakening. And basically the coalition during the period of General Petraeus created a military force which was trained and equipped by the United States, which was supposed to resist Islamism and help maintain order. It was like the moderate forces, and they did create this force, and it was effective against Daesh. But later, the Iraqi government, when it was consolidating its power, basically dismantled this force. So I think they want to do something similar in Gaza, but I think it won't work in Gaza for two reasons. First of all, Iraq was very diverse. You had Shia, Sunni, Kurds, and when America came, yes, and when America came, and they threw down Saddam Hussein, who was Sunni from Tikrit, a lot of people say, great, we're free from this oppression. They didn't like America, but they also hated Saddam Hussein. In Gaza, you have only one group. You don't have people who like Israel. You don't have people who hate Palestinians. They're all Palestinians. So this division...
So you have two groups that are a little bit, might be, not fully, obviously. You have the Bedouins, who are discriminated against, and you have the blacks, the Abids, the slave neighborhood.
Yes, but the Bedouins are important, but black Arabs are negligible. Like you can count them on one hand.
It's not enough people. But these are groups that are like actively discriminated against and were discriminated against. And now Shabab, those who cooperate in Rafah, they're the Bedouins.
Yes, so I think they want to do something like that, but bigger. I'm rather pessimistic about it.
That's me too.
Exactly.
Like the only ones you have are the 5 black people and there are more.
Yes, and if they bring like an outside force, which will be made like from Egyptians and Jordanians, these people are basically gonna help the Palestinians because they're Arabs and they're not gonna be neutral. It's not reasonable to expect them to be neutral. And if you bring foreign forces, I don't know, if you bring Irish soldiers to make sure that Hamas doesn't build its force again, we can imagine what will happen. Because we saw that already in South Lebanon after 2006. It just doesn't work. And we saw that also in Sinai, where the UN forces were supposed to prevent war. They just scattered. Like Egypt told them, go away, and they went away. I'm talking about 73. Sorry, 67.
It's important to say everything to the crowd. I'm not listening for a moment because I want to show you something. Sorry. So
hopefully someone was listening.
Well, for sure the crowd was. You can see the comments. Because I want to show something. This is a veteran Speak the Truth channel, and I shared it in my channel today. I shared this video in one of my posts, and he watched the footage from October 7th, and I want to share here what he had to say. Right, so it's there are a couple of snippets. I actually thought I'd do it tomorrow because tomorrow is also about Gaza, the video I'm doing, but it's gonna be more, I guess tomorrow is gonna be more like lighthearted. Since we're going to talk about our experience with the press there. Oh my God, listen, you want to like a little bit of a spoiler thing? So we went to the Gaza with other press people. They knew nothing. They didn't know how the economy worked in Gaza. It was like, what are you going to report, guys? Like at some point, like they heard me, I made some jokes about selling some rare items in Gaza. Like there was a period like that. It's not so much like that now, especially since like there are more and more distribution points that are not Hamas related. But the thing is that like I made this joke and then I started explaining like, because someone asked, wait, how come they would pay so much money for something, right? So I joked about cigarettes being like thousands of shekels in Gaza because they had a shortage. And I said, like, what do you mean? They have bunch of money. You know how Sinwar was caught with like 30,000 shekels, I think, or so. So it's like $10,000, and apparently like that it shocked the world. Like they have that money, but it's like pocket change for them because the whole world is sending them money. They have abundance of money. They have a lot of, like, the banking system still works. They have like cash. They have a lot of crypto, everything, like all the systems that you can think of. So they have a lot of money, right? So the thing is like, so they can spend it as well, right? So like people are like, well, what? Because he was like, what do you mean? How do they? And I said, like, you don't understand. Like they have a ton of money. The whole world is sending them money. There are not that many people, right? Those. It's not that complicated, and they have a. And it was like, oh, wow.
1 second, I'll be right back. I have
And I was
something
like,
relevant to the
are you?
conversation. If you give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hi. I feel like I was. It's a cliffhanger now, guys. Anyway, like, and I said like, and that was relatively. I don't know which country that was, because it wasn't the French or the Dutch that I talked to later. And I also listened to the kind of questions they asked other reporters. Those, like, they knew nothing. They knew nothing about the economy system in Gaza. They knew nothing about the way things work inside. They like, and I thought to myself like, why are the journalists coming here? Like, why are those are journalists? They're supposed to give information, and they don't know anything. I was like, it's, it's not like us. I said like, we, because what we did is they asked us like, what are you doing? I did food review, which I'm gonna share at some point. I went through all the food and I tried to see what I can try for you guys on camera. There wasn't a lot like to really try, but I got one snack here. This is a humanitarian aid I stole from Gaza. I didn't like it too much, honestly, but I was reviewing that, and then they came, and I listened to them, and they knew nothing. Anyway, that's for tomorrow. Okay. Well, what are you showing?
So a friend and I went to the border with Gaza.
Okay.
And I don't know. Did you see what happened here?
Yeah, you're blurry. Let's wait a second. It's at my end. Oh wait, come back to us.
Right. So let's see if I can improve it.
I'm trying to. Am I stuck too? I don't know. Uli. Hello, where are you? Come back. Come back. Okay, let me start showing you what I wanted to show them.
Yeah. So can you see me well now?
Yes.
So I'll do it again.
Okay. Oh, you got a whole box.
Okay. So
I wanted to take so much more stuff. I thought, because like I thought I'd like bring some food home, but like the other journalists started asking too much question and distracted us from feeding ourselves. So that was annoying.
So when you go along the border with Gaza, you have dozens of these boxes, sacks of flour, jam, vegetables, just lying around, just scattered. And that's insane. So this food, which is high quality, good food from the Emirates, from Turkey. The quantity,
Listen,
and
it's the expensive stuff. Literally, the soldiers who live in way worse conditions there.
So, for example, this box had 5 kilograms of white rice, 8 kilograms of chickpeas, half a kilogram of salt, 3 vegetable sunflower oil bottles,
Can you
and
believe it? And
also
they get it for
you had
free, and
there
we have to work
tahini
like dogs.
and fava beans. Yes, so it returns to our conversation, and it just scattered everywhere. I didn't go into Gaza and loot an aid truck. They're just lying around, and I'm not talking about in some organized way. They're literally just scattered everywhere in the wilderness. And I saw like dogs eating this aid because it doesn't really interest anyone. And all the dogs that are fat, they're cute. I like fat dogs, but
oh, but here's the thing: they had like feta cheese outside, and I was like in the heat, and I was thinking, like, how does it survive?
Near what
Maybe
gate?
somebody, like, it doesn't matter. It's for tomorrow. I want to show you something. I want to share these clips that I might show again tomorrow. I hope it loads. I don't
Egypt's
know.
not letting them in for a reason. They haven't opened their dang border for a reason. No, you don't. A death cult doesn't begin to explain it. You say that there's a different word for it. This is a different level of evil. Like, I don't know how to explain this to you, but it is a different level of evil. You pick.
So this is a veteran that fought against ISIS and saw what ISIS were doing, and like literally saw it. And this is his video. Like this is his reaction to the footage that wasn't released. So he, in the beginning, he explained that a lot of the footage, like if it was his family members, he wouldn't want that to be released either, because of how horrifying it was. So this is kind of jumping to the end where he is explaining why Egypt would not take people like that, like, and who they are. And so this is, segments I want to show.
Death cult people that just value death, that maybe they'll go and they'll have like some sort of a cult while they're all like suicide themselves one day. This isn't a death cult. This is this what I saw, that was a genocide. That was an attempted genocide. Their goal was to kill every human they came across that they weren't going to take back to use for leverage, every hostage they took. And the leaders were trying to stop. I heard a Hamas commander I don't know if I can actually say this one. No, I know for years they're screaming Hamas equals ISIS. I'm telling you, what I saw is a hell of a lot different than my experience with ISIS. So what I'm saying is this is 10 times different. This is worse. This is worse than ISIS. What these people did is worse than ISIS. And it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense when you look at how they're raised, what they're taught, where everything's at. Worse than ISIS. You're giving ISIS a bad name by calling them Hamas. You're downgrading Hamas by comparing them to ISIS. Did I say that like clear enough? You are downgrading Hamas by saying that they are ISIS. They are worse than ISIS. The Islamic State ain't got nothing on Hamas. I'll say it again. The Islamic State don't have nothing on Hamas. And when I think about the crap that I've seen in my military career, what I've seen people do, knowing that their ideology is worse than ISIS, knowing that their ideology is 10 times worse than the Taliban, knowing their ideology is worse, I mean, way more radical. Like Nazis weren't this bad. Nazis are bad. They were exterminating. These guys were loving every minute of their torture.
I'm gonna pause for a second and show you another clip. Share your thoughts in the meantime. And I want, like, I had an argument. It's just my story. And so we did the second Seder in Liverpool because it's outside of Israel. You have the first and second. And we went to the Reform Synagogue, which initially I didn't want to go. But then I thought, like, whatever. And there was this one guy who was there with us in the table, and I can say he was clearly not Jewish at all. I think he just found the community, found the Reform Synagogue that are accepting everyone, and he just joined. Maybe he's working there as well. And he told about how he shouted at a pro-Palestine demonstration, and saying "F you Nazis," blah blah blah. And then the girl next to him was like, and she was very Jewish person as well, right? Her dad was Jewish, her mama was Irish, very Jewish indeed, and her girlfriend was there too, who was 100% Irish. Anyway, she was like, how can you call them Nazis? Like, they're humans.
It's so insulting to Nazis.
No, I wish this is what she said. She said they're like the pro-Palestinians, they are humans, don't call them Nazis. And she was like, looked at this guy, and I was like, and he was like this look of I'm better than you, of like they have this classism, and this guy was clearly like a working class Brit, and this girl was like, oh. And then I looked at him, and I was like, he thought he'd be like he does something good, right? He's defending us, and that little bitch is like, oh, you shouldn't call them, they're humans, you shouldn't call them Nazis. And then I told her nicely enough, I told her their ideology is way worse than Nazism, so it's very appropriate to call them Nazis, girl. And she was like, no, they're humans, you shouldn't be calling them Nazis. And then I told her, the Nazis, they were humans too. In fact, the more they're going to protect them, the more I'm going to defend Nazis and speak and say that Nazis were way better than them and deserve to be called humans too. And in fact, if you think that Nazis were not human, I'm personally offended. So I was like, do you want to go down this rabbit hole, or would you nicely shut up and just enjoy the Seder? And then she shut up and went to cry in the bathroom and came back a little bit better.
And
I hope,
like
and I
in
said,
the Seder,
I hope I traumatized you enough, little idiot, just so you know.
It's a very good point to raise here. Actually, two good points. So first of all, people always confuse being good and being nice. And if you want to be good, you can't be nice. Because if you want to be good, you need to point out evil. And pointing out evil is not nice. So you have done the good thing, which is much better than doing the nice thing, which is saying, oh, we're having a dinner, so, let this bitch do what she wants. The second thing is there's a quote I'd like to share. This quote is
Naomi
90 years
Shamel?
old.
Not Naomi Shamel.
No, it's actually from Beryl Katzenelson.
You know the Naomi Shamel one? But yeah, okay, let's hear it.
So I'm not going to read the entire essay, but he has a line. He says that he refers to the Palestinian Nazis, and it's 1936. It's before World War II. The Palestinian Nazis who managed to concentrate the zoological anti-Semitism of Europe with the dagger lust of the East. So they're worse than Nazis because they have all the bad things of the Nazis and all the bad things of the East. They like take the worst traits of Arab culture, the worst traits of German culture, and create some horrifying mutant. And that was said before World War II, before the Holocaust. It was said 90 years ago by a leftist socialist. But he said it because he knew them. He interacted with them. He didn't just have theory. He had real life. So it's a very good point, and it connects very strongly to what the American soldiers said about, because ISIS were like people who had normal lives and then joined ISIS. Hamas are people who have been brainwashed and raised in this way for an entire generation. They had no other information. They were bred for that. Like our video is called How to Breed Useful Idiots.
You know what's the scary thing? And I said it a lot of times on my channel. What do they do with the kids that don't have an inclination to bloodlust? So they recognize the children at the age of 6, 7, and at the age of 8, they know that they're too far gone in their recordings, right? So they have like bloodlust training as kids, and some kids are naturally empathetic, okay? Like born inclined not to turn psychopathic or sociopathic, no matter what you do to them. And they observe the children. They note the kids that at the age of 4, like basically at the age of 4, they already know those kids. Like it's one in a, like it's one in a class, right? Maybe like way less, maybe, right? That is like, you can see that he has a question mark in his eyes when they do what they do. And if that question mark doesn't disappear by the age of 8, those kids are excommunicated.
So think about their education system is that there's a nice Arab-Israeli show called Fadia, and they describe themselves, I'm not talking about Gaza, I'm talking about Israeli Arabs, as חברה אכזרית, קשה ומענישה, like a cruel, punishing, and hard society. So they try to create a society in which you have to be tough. And because if you're not tough, you're nothing. You will not survive. It's like a very macho culture, very hardcore culture.
But because the Russians are tough and brutal, but not in the same way.
The Russians, because they don't have like a clan structure. They don't have like a tribal structure.
No, they also don't have.
They do have a government, a society.
Like they do have like Dziedovщина and things like that. They did, even though I suspect that most of the ones that are really cruel are more Chechens than Russians.
Yeah, it's like when you read about the Russian mafia today, you don't have any Russians. It's all Armenians, Caucasians.
Yeah. So, but like the Kafkas are the same. The Kafkas are the same as.
Yeah, and you saw their cruelty during the Chechen War. They did absolutely horrific things. Cut off heads.
I think they hid the amount of people they actually killed. The Chechens.
I saw some estimates that about 200,000
By the way,
people
can you
were killed
give
in
our
both wars.
crowd a little bit of information about what we're talking about?
The Chechen wars.
Yeah.
So, like during
the
Chechen. The biggest massacre in a school ever, like in human history, was committed by Chechens, and there were like some real atrocities in Beslan and in Chechnya itself. You had so many videos of Chechens, cutting off people's heads, raping children, cutting off hands. Like the internet was absolutely flooded at the early days of the internet, when you didn't have social networks and you had sites like Ogrish. The vast majority of atrocities you saw, if it wasn't like the Mexican cartels, it was Chechens. And we saw there a level of brutality comparable, less, but comparable to what we see from Hamas. It was an absolutely brutal and barbaric society.
You saw what they did to the Druze? One of them opened the Druze and took a bite from a heart when he was still alive.
Are you talking about the Chechens or the Arabs?
I think it was, no, they had a lot of foreign comers. I think it was, I don't know. I didn't, like, I heard, like, I know a lot of people who watched the video. To me, I spared myself.
Yeah, there were a lot of, but by the way, not all the foreigners were Muslims. They had Arabs, like Khatab, but they also had Lithuanians, Ukrainians helping them. A lot of Ukrainian nationalists.
In the Druze? Massacring the Druze in Syria? I know there is a lot of us.
The first Chechen war. I'm talking about the first Chechen war.
Oh, you're talking about the Chechen war. I talk about now. One of the, I think, those Beks, and they have people from Chechnya and all over. I think it was a foreign, maybe it was an Arab. Anyway, they cut open a Druze while he was still alive, took his heart, and I think he took a bite or something while the person is still alive.
Sounds like them.
Yeah. I think Westerns need to maybe hear those descriptions more, because I don't think they understand what they're facing.
I don't understand why Israel doesn't make more of an effort to share specific images, because look at what a huge impact there was from the image of Irena bleeding in United States. Like, this one image had more effect than 1,000 essays. So we need this one image that will be symbolic, instead of talking these long essays and showing statistics and stuff like that.
Yeah, but the problem is that the families wouldn't allow it. You know that the kids, right? That the father died, and I think he jumped on the grenade, and then the kids one got blinded and one got deaf. It was the children that asked for the footage to be published. The children themselves, they said, we want the world to see what happened to us. That's why.
Yes, and I don't think, it's going to sound cruel, but I don't think that the opinions of the families should decide in this case, because it's a matter of national security. It's that important. It's a matter of life and death. And they don't actually own the footage. This is public footage.
I don't know.
Because no one else does that.
But you know what scares me more? That they would try to imitate it. Because I don't know how far. Like, this is how much I don't know how much. Like, this is how low trust. This is the amount of low trust I have. I'm kind of afraid that those college students would try to imitate it.
Those college students,
it's so hard for me to tell, but I don't know if they wouldn't, because it's addictive. I think it's like drugs, that blood and gore.
But this style of barbarity is, I think it's unique to Islamic culture. Like, you have leftist terrorists, but they want to shoot someone and blow up someone.
The Nazis could do it. Yeah,
they didn't know.
No, the Germans couldn't do it. So I think they probably wouldn't be able to do it either.
What you said reminds me of a quote from 300. Our eyes bear witness to the grotesque spectacle coughed forth from the darkest corners of the empire. So you have these, barbarians who are brought from like these savage, unadvanced civilizations where we're just normal to cut people to pieces. This level of barbarity, I don't really see it coming to UCLA or Oxford or whatever.
I think probably you have to be born to it. I think, and also like bred to it, because it's also selective breeding.
I can say for myself that I'm not a vegetarian. I eat meat, but when I saw like an animal actually being slaughtered in real life, it wasn't pleasant to me. Like I wasn't like shocked or anything, but it was very unpleasant. If someone does it all the time, like the act of slaughtering animals, then using a knife to cut something which is alive becomes more habitual and it's less traumatizing for them.
I don't think it's the same, honest to God.
No, but like you become less squeamish about it, I think.
I don't know. Anyway, what is my thing to say here? Those brutalities. Okay. Anyway, the West should know.
We were talking about breeding useful idiots, so I don't think like atrocities will help doing that, because the kind of people in the West who become useful idiots are not the kind of people who want to see or experience atrocities. I think it's a different kind of people. They're more advanced, sophisticated, squeamish, gentle.
I love Naomi Shemer so much. By the way, I don't know if you guys know who she is. She wrote Yerushalayim Shel Zahav. That's the poet that wrote. She's a right-wing person, you know that? It was like a big, like, because she was the national poet of Israel, it was like a very unpopular thing for the elite that she was a right-wing personnel, like she was a right-winger.
Yeah, so they put it under the carpet.
Yeah. So, but the thing that she said, like, so one of my favorite quotes, like she said, like, you know how Golda Meir, which is a left-wing person, another woman said, there will, like, the war will not end until they love their children more than they hate us, blah blah blah. But here's what Naomi Shemer said: if the Arabs would ever overcome us, we're gonna miss the sterile efficiency of the Germans.
Yes, and it connects very well to
like
what
we're gonna
said.
Yeah,
who's also a left-wing person,
with nostalgia.
Yes, because this personal barbarity, this ad hoc individual barbarity, is something which is unique to their culture.
I'm pretty sure it's also like they genetically, like they do selective breeding, right? Like I said, those kids who had a question mark in their eyes, they are excommunicated by the age of 8.
I think any society does, in a way, selective breeding because there is a certain kind of man which women admire. Like,
but it's true for both genders.
Yes.
The woman. Do you think the women are not like that?
I think the difference between men and women in Arab society is much larger than the difference between men and women, for example, in Swiss society.
How are they different? They're both animals. Both sides are animals.
Because you expect in Arab society for a man to be very outgoing, very macho, very bold, very aggressive, and you expect the woman to be more timid, more quiet.
Oh, no. They are professional abusers.
In home abuse, they don't expect a woman to to go punch someone.
Yeah. But at home they abuse.
Usually, the more patriarchal society is, the bigger is the difference between men and women. Like the more described the roles are.
I don't know. They're awful. I like from what I heard. Like they are. Listen, they don't care about their kids. They want them to die. Let's start with that.
They say it openly, many times.
They honestly do. I think because they were raped into having them. They want them dead.
They also believe in. I think these people honestly believe in the rewards of martyrdom. Like the Vikings. The Vikings also.
No, I think that a lot of the mothers hate their children, especially boys, and there are studies that show that they hate their boys, especially.
It's one thing we have in common. I also hate their boys.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh yeah. I like that. I love that you can find commonalities everywhere. You're a peacemaker, a real diplomat.
Yeah, that's what I am. So apparently, Trump says that Bibi has agreed to his plan.
Of course, Bibi always agrees and then counts on the Arabs.
And they haven't they didn't get a reply from Hamas yet. What do you think? Will Hamas agree to it? Because if I were Hamas, I wouldn't accept it.
Good, I hope.
Obviously, we're very different, but would you accept this plan? Like, if you were Hamas, if you were the leader of Gaza, would you accept it?
No, I don't think they can. The price they're gonna. It's gonna be.
Because there's one thing that the Arabs don't forgive, and that's losing land. Losing land is unforgivable in Arab culture.
No, but they were also designated to die already, so it's gonna be something is gonna.
And also, it's strange that they had this public presentation of this plan without even talking to Hamas first. Like they say Qatar agrees, Egypt agrees, Israel agrees, the United States agrees, and Hamas. Guys, you didn't even talk to us. Yeah,
Somebody says, so is Trump a useful idiot? 100%. Why is Qatar still there? Trump is a useful idiot. That's why.
I think Trump is Trump.
Yeah,
he's looking after.
He's more of a just like.
He's a businessman. He's trying things. He's doing
a little bit.
He doesn't have a specific direction. You are more prone to. I don't know how you say it in English. Kaf chova, and I'm more kaf zchut.
Oh yeah. Why am I always the bad cop in every like when I went out? So my friend that is gonna join tomorrow. She is on Instagram. So you're on Twitter, I do YouTube, and she's on Instagram. And
the alliance.
And when we were out, some guys approached us, and at some point the guy was like, "Oh, I get it. Like you guys have the same vibe, like you agree on everything, but you're the good cop and you're the bad cop."
That's how it works.
Like, and I was like, "Why am I like? I'm always the bad cop."
This is the strategy of Qatar. Qatar is the good cop, and Hamas, Al-Quds, the Taliban are the bad cop. All these terrorist organizations, they are Qatar's bad cop. So Qatar organizes a terrorist attack, and then they say, okay, they're very bad. I'm going to talk to them. I'm the nice guy. Yeah. Let me talk to them. They are the ones doing the terrorist attacks through Taliban, through Hamas, through Al-Quds.
When we organize the downfall of Qatar, which we're going to start with organizing protests against them in universities, you're going to be the good cop and I'm going to be the bad cop.
Yeah, I think this role fits me naturally.
People are going to read your tweets and be like, this is the good cop.
I don't think a lot of people have that reaction to my tweets. But
exactly,
it's funny somehow,
which would be fun, because it's like, if that's the good cop.
Because when I talk to people face to face, somehow I always find myself like the more moderate element. And usually, like I always thought I was like the super duper extremist, and now somehow I always end up being the moderate.
Amazing.
Even though my positions are objectively extreme. Yeah, it's like I used to be like.
They are not.
I used to be like.
You know what's extremist?
Extreme?
If you thought we need to cook all the Gazans and eat them, that's extreme.
It depends on the society. I'm sure some societies consider it
no.
normal.
Let me explain, okay? So the left side, right? So the good cop is let the Gazans immigrate to other countries. The bad cop is let's eat them alive. Like literally, practice cannibalism. Like I think, let's give it a special halacha for this.
With some fava beans, they even have fava beans everywhere in Gaza.
Exactly. So fava beans with Gazans, like eat them. So this is like you say the left, the good cop left is let's let them immigrate somewhere else, and the bad cop is let's eat them alive. That's the world I see.
I think the left in Israel wants us to immigrate somewhere.
So you see, we are closer to the left than we are to the.
It reminds me that one time I was talking to my mother about the X-Men, and she said that the X-Men you have Professor X and Magneto, and she said that you have this insane extremist who totally ignores reality and wants to force his insane ways on everyone, and that's Professor X. So for her, Professor X was the extremist. He was crazy, and Magneto he was like the normal person, reacting in a sensible way to the actual reality. So if you go enough in the sane direction, then the insane left becomes the extreme, like the people who say, okay, we can just coexist with them, let's open the borders, it's going to be fine.
They are,
for me, that's the extreme position.
No, because it's insanity. So we don't need to have them in the discussion. We don't need schizophrenic, like delusional, like high people in the spectrum at all. Okay,
I saw leftists in Israel who said that we trust Hamas more than we trust Bibi. Now, I don't trust Bibi at all, but saying that you trust Hamas, really? That is a mental illness. Those people need to take
No,
medicine.
this is why they're mentally ill, and this is how they should be treated.
They're literally, yes. Like they need like a doctor who will pat them on the head and say, everything's gonna be fine. They're literally crazy.
Yeah. To me, anyone who thinks that Gazans would be able to stay in Gaza in any way, shape, or form are mentally ill.
Even more people who want it. There are people who actually want it.
Yeah.
That's for me, that's insane.
I know, because it's like a temporary compromise, maybe, but like as an end goal, that's insanity.
Right now, people in Gaza also don't want to stay in Gaza. Almost everyone in Gaza. If you tell them, I'm going to buy you a ticket to, I don't know, Belgium right now, he will say, inshallah, let's do that. That sounds amazing. Praise God.
Listen, Belgians, when they land.
Yeah, but it sounds like Belgium's problem.
Yeah, 100%. Like when someone asked me, like, what would happen? I said, like, I think they're going to immigrate out, and then they're going to they're going to go extinct
Assimilated?
in all those countries. And he was said, like, what do you mean? And I said, like, even if it's going to be one at a time, they're criminals. It might take decades. It might be one person at a time, but they all will go.
They're Arabs, just Arabs. They will assimilate, I think.
No, but it's worse than that. Like they wouldn't assimilate. They would just go.
Yeah, only one way to find out. Let's do it.
100%. And it would happen. I can guarantee it. Maybe 1 in 100 would assimilate.
That was probably one of the most disturbing. I'd love to tell you that Nova was like, I wouldn't love to tell you any of this, to be perfectly honest with you. I honestly don't know which scene was more horrific that I saw today, but probably for the sake of humanity, I would say that the most grotesque thing out of all of it wasn't even the armed terrorists that were doing this. It was the people inside of Gaza openly celebrating it, dragging on bodies, spitting on bodies. And when I say people, by the way, when I say people, I mean young children were doing this alongside their parents. I mean, fathers, listen to the words out of my mouth. Fathers took their children to go see dead Jews, and not all of them were Jews, by the way. Fathers took their children to go beat and spit on bodies and praise God. I got to say that again. Fathers took their young children to go beat, spit on bodies, and praise God for that. Now, these are the same people, by the way, those people that did that. And it's not just one or two. It wasn't just a couple hundred here. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people inside of Gaza did that. Not one or two, thousands. The fact that Israel has not wiped that entire place off the map is appalling to me after watching that. One of the biggest concerns that I voiced today
I think this sentence should be heard again and internalized. What we are doing in Gaza by letting them live is a crime against humanity. And I love that he said that. He's not Israeli. He's not Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have a right. He's a fair person outside the system that look at things the way they are. All right. Letting them stay alive, it's a crime against humanity.
If the people who lived in Israel were Americans and not mostly Jews, there wouldn't be a single Arab between the Jordan and the Mediterranean by now. Like Americans are much tougher. And I actually read an interview with an American officer who, after he left the American army, he volunteered with the IDF. And at one point...
but it's funny because it is the Americans themselves that wouldn't let us do the same thing. They're hypocrites, let's be honest.
Again, I'm talking like if they were in charge.
And so this American because soldier, they're not in charge, they're assholes. Let's not confuse it.
They don't owe us anything. They don't owe us anything.
But we are a small nation. And the Biden stopped the weapon, like everything.
So what I was saying
that we need
an
the
Israeli
American
pilot
backing. Because of that, listen, I agree that it needs to come from
you didn't let me finish the sentence, so I'm not sure what you agree with.
Sorry. No. I just want to say, like, there are two elements here. There's the stupid Israelis on one hand, which is half of the problem, and the other hand is the hypocritical Americans that would sacrifice the whole world and let minorities be genocided without batting an eye, but would do, if it was them doing anything, they would do the right thing because they're hypocrites.
Those people aren't
and
hypocrites,
because they look at themselves as humans, and any other nation in the world is not. And everybody knows that. It's so hard when Americans speak, you can hear them. They don't see others as humans.
You keep referring to all Americans as one group, and I don't think it's fair. There's many very different Americans.
The vast majority of them. The vast majority of them.
I think the majority of Americans don't strongly care one way or the other.
They don't care because they don't look at others as human at all.
Do you care about the civil war in Myanmar? Do you care about the war between Congo and
I care about
Rwanda right now?
It's too far. But I can at least say
exactly.
I care about
for them,
the
it's
Druze,
also too far.
and I want the Druze. No, it's not, because the Druze are like, it's what's under our wing. I care. The Kurds, the Druze, I care.
I mean, you have some guy living in Tennessee, and there is no objective reason for him to care more.
I would even say that the Copts as well. And I care. I do. I think it's a lie.
Yes, but I'm not asking about your neighbors. I'm asking you about, the Karen people in Myanmar.
Yeah, but it's not the same thing because we clearly cannot reach that far, and I don't know what's going on there. But if we could,
I'm talking about America right now, not about us.
America, we are the neighbor of America with the closest we are, so they do it on purpose. It's different.
I disagree. I think you can't demand someone to have a strong opinion on something which doesn't concern them.
It concerns them a lot. Otherwise, they wouldn't have butted their nose in anything. They would just sell the weapons, and that's it.
I'm not talking about American government. I'm talking about individual Americans. Like you have this guy in Tennessee, and he says, "I don't care. It's okay. I respect his right not to care."
They don't say it. Let's be honest. They don't say it.
Some people do. But what I want to say is that you had an American in the Israeli army, and an Israeli plane crashed near an Arab village. And they were absolutely sure that the Arabs murdered the Israeli pilot. And the American guy said, let's shoot all the men here. Let's shoot everyone. And Mr. One Eye, who was a soldier back then.
Okay, Mr. One Eye was a little piece of shit that we suffer from now, and I don't want to talk about him. Okay, not talk about him.
He
was a little piece of shit.
Like the Israelis told him, we can't do that. We don't know who did it. We can't just kill those people. And the Americans said, you're insane. You're crazy. You're all crazy. And he said there were only 2 times he was really angry at Israel. And that was one of those times. And again, that's like an American who moved to Israel and joined the IDF. And he was absolutely outraged. They didn't just shoot everyone. He was furious.
This is why this is the kind of Americans I'm very, very willing to accept into our country.
So,
no, I agree. I just don't think we have the same population as we did in 1967. Let's be honest about that. It's not the same anymore.
No, I brought this as just as an example that if instead of Israel you had like a small American nation, in 1967 there wouldn't be any Arabs left in Judea and Samaria or Gaza. or in 48 there would be any Arabs left, because America, as what this guy said, is the fact that you left Gaza, allowed Gaza to continue existing. It's appalling. The word he uses is appalling.
It is appalling.
And
Believe me,
almost no one in Israel says that. Like, you're more likely to hear from an American than from an Israeli. And for me,
because
that is the most appalling
every
thing.
that said that, the Americans used it as a propaganda war against us. And they did it from the government. I know that they did it from within the American government and the American people. I'm sorry. And they would have not have ever done that to themselves.
But talk to people in the street in Israel. Most of them
you know how they abandoned I don't want to talk about them.
That's our problem.
In the street? Yeah.
Yes, go down the street in, I don't know.
If they were like that in real life, we would have like, do you listen to American mainstream? Look, we would have way more. We would have way more people watching us if what we said it was agreed upon by most Americans.
Part of the problem is that there is nothing that most Israelis agree on.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You don't need most Israelis. You just need a good enough chunk to have.
We don't even have that. There's absolutely nothing that most Israelis agree on.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. But So Rebecca's view is no, it is common. I want to clear a misconception. It's a very common view. All right.
Which one?
Removing everyone from Gaza. It's a very common view. It's most people.
No, I was referring to that. I was referring to this guy said that, not utterly destroying Gaza instantly, that this is appalling. Most Israelis wouldn't use that specific phrase. I also agree.
Because I think most Israelis don't have that kind of vocabulary, and they wouldn't think about using the word appalling. They're not that sophisticated. This American is just too intelligent for the average Israeli to express himself in this way.
Let's pretend this was not said. By the way, I just saw an official response from Hamas.
I'm just making fun on everyone today. I was talking shit about everyone today. I got pissed off.
So people want to accuse you of prejudice.
I know, right?
You talk shit about Americans. I also talk shit about Israelis and Arabs and Russians.
Yeah, you can hear. When AP and David Wood were here and we were walking together and I was talking shit about Jews, they were like, we might have thought that you were an anti-Semite if you weren't. Because every time you don't understand because and so I love them, but it's not my fault they're stupid and retarded. My family, why can't I not say?
You missed a chance to talk shit about Burma, but okay. So just a little update. So there is a reply from Hamas. They say that they didn't receive Trump's plan. No Palestinian organization received Trump's plan. They learned it from the news, just like you and me. They don't know the details, and they say that what they heard so far is very close to the Israeli positions, but they can't reply because no one talked with them about it at all, and there is absolutely no reply from any Arab country. They say, we have no idea what you're talking about. No Arab country commented on it.
Position. They didn't say, did they not say outright, no? They said, we just didn't hear about it. Let's us read the details and the fine lines closely.
Yes, they didn't say no. They said we weren't updated, we weren't informed. We didn't read Telegram.
Look at them.
We didn't know.
Look at them playing the diplomatic game properly.
Yeah.
Nice. Good job, Hamas, you little pieces.
They didn't go out, dancing with a knife over their head.
Yeah.
But it looks to me nothing is going to happen because it's
wait. I want to give this American the literal respect that he deserves. Thank you, dear American, because I heard so many Americans. This guy is an honest one. I like him. I didn't hear anything else. His channel is called something about truth, so I guess maybe he's famous for saying what needs to be said and needs to be heard, and the actual truth. But I don't know a lot of Americans like that. I need to check out the rest of his channel, I guess, before I say what I think.
And from you say he was a soldier, so that's also certainly deserves
respect. The first video I saw of him, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, it's once in a while you meet this kind of American. And
it always depresses me that when you have an American talking for Israel, they talk for Israel better than Israelis talk for Israel. That always depresses me.
Listen, sometimes when I listen to Israelis, I think we deserve everything. So.
Because the phrase he said is amazing, and you would have never heard it from an Israeli. That's so depressing.
Huh?
The phrase
I swear.
And you would never hear it from an Israeli. Even Ben Gvir wouldn't say something like that, or Smotrich or whatever.
I hear my grandpa would say things like that. Not Pauling. My grandpa is like, if he would hear someone say that we need to get rid of all the men in Gaza, my grandpa would say, and the women and the children. Do not forget those as well. Every time.
He came from the Soviet Union, right?
And my dad and my grandpa is Georgian.
So yes,
Georgian.
Of course I know what Georgian is. Georgia, sweet Georgia. There's the entire argument with my guys. If you say Georgia or Georgia, no one is quite sure.
Because in Georgian it's Sakartveli.
You speak Georgian?
A little. I never say the languages I speak. I don't want people to test me. I have a lot of fragments and little bits of different languages in my system.
Like my French. On some days I have a lot of French, and some days I don't know any French at all.
Yeah, same. Anyway, so, you know what? Georgia is famous.
Your grandfather wasn't raised in Israel. He was raised in Soviet Union. That's a Soviet reply. That's the problem.
He was raised in Georgia.
Yes, which was part of the Soviet Union.
It's not the same because it was the periphery. The Soviet Union didn't reach their city, basically. But
no,
they
I mean, politically, physically, it was part of the empire.
Yeah, but there's for them it was an upgrade, Like the Russians were sweet and cute. As far as Georgia was concerned, to them it was liberation.
Georgia became part of the Russian empire to begin with because they were concerned about their Muslim neighbors.
Yeah, compared to Muslims, Russia, even that's at its worst, was a beautiful, beautiful, flowery little girl,
And the Soviets weren't racist against Georgians. They were bad to Georgia, they were bad to everyone because they were socialists and leftists. Beria was from Georgia. Stalin was from Georgia.
Stalin.
You could reach.
You know who else is Georgian?
A lot of people. Everyone ends with a
Erdogan.
He's from a Georgian background? I didn't know that.
He's Georgian, yeah. And I say sometimes, you know what Georgia should be more famous for, and people don't understand, is for creating dictators and sending them to a foreign country.
Yeah.
And I was like, one day I'll be a dictator. I need to respect my Georgian roots.
I think you'll be the first female dictator in history.
No way.
There were female queens, but there was never, I think, a woman who led a coup and took over a government.
Oh. I love that you support me, Uri, right away. Oh, yeah, you'll be the first.
Good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, when I talk to my Israeli leftist friends, then I tell them, listen, if you're not gonna cooperate with me, I'm gonna become a dictator, and then I'm gonna blame you for making me a dictator, for not properly debating my opinions.
It's very difficult to get in Israel because two Jews, three opinions. It's very difficult to be a dictator in Israel because it's a country full of Jews.
I'll find
Mussolini wasn't a proper dictator because he led a nation of Italians. So he would dictate them, and they would, yeah, sure,
but,
sure, tomorrow.
But like in China, it's also like that. The Chinese are
very
also
disciplined.
like that. They're also crazy, like the Italians and the Jews. That's my experience. And they managed to have a dictatorship, kind of. So
they always had a dictatorship. They never had anything else.
I know, but they're crazy.
The Chinese worship bureaucracy. They worship the state. They're the most
why?
People in the world.
You know what's their thing? Yeah, it's better to suffer like that than to have chaos. That's the motto.
Yes, because they're terrified of chaos. But Jews are not terrified of chaos. Jews love chaos.
Because Jews live in a different geographical area. They can afford chaos.
We're also a different nation. Like, we are right wing. As part of us being right wing, I mean, like, specifically you and I.
Yes,
that we like
chaos
freedom? We want to do what we want.
I saw, like, I watched a debate between what is the perfect, like, the ideal government system in Judaism, and one rabbi was like very strong of a very strong opinion that 100% anarchy is the ultimate Jewish governmental system.
I don't remember which Greek traveler
and I think
wrote it. I think
he's right. It is anarchy. I think anarchy is the ultimate governmental system in Judaism.
So a Greek philosopher, I think it was Strabo, but I'm not sure. He wrote that anarchy is the natural state of Jews. Jews can't have a strong country because their natural state is anarchy. And he said that there is no more miserable person in the world than a leader of Jews. That's like the worst thing a person could be.
This is why I love Bibi so much. And when people complain about Bibi, I tell them, you guys, he has the worst job in the world.
And but he's certainly doing it in the worst way.
No, he's not. Listen, you know your nation, okay? Let's be honest. He does the best he can considering the circumstances.
I am just appalled that he's still the prime minister, honestly. Like, a person should be represented for so long, and after a failure of such a magnitude...
I had that opposition too. I thought that too. But the more I got involved and getting to know, like, the different elements of society, I realized this person is like God sent.
I have to say that in this I absolutely disagree with you, because after a failure of such a magnitude...
No. Because, like,
if you were Japanese, expected to do harakiri.
First of all, I disagree. First of all, because I'm a dictator, I'm gonna tell you. You know how everybody talk about false flags and shit? As a dictator, I would have done it as a false flag, like as on purpose.
That would be insane.
Oh,
and
I'm
also
planning
you
to be a
wouldn't be able
dictator.
to do. You wouldn't be able to do that because, again,
no, I would have let it. The thing is that you need to take in action, because it was the direction things were going into. Okay.
But you can't magically just make things.
No,
happen.
It was about
if you're a dictator. No, listen.
Right.
If you're a dictator,
no, I let them.
And
I
you
know.
have.
Here's the thing. What is the complaint
you don't let me
about
finish
Bibi?
the sentence. You're not letting me finish the sentence.
Sorry.
If you're a dictator, you can't just magically make things happen. You need people to cooperate with you, even if you're a dictator. And if you want to have a huge conspiracy, which includes thousands of people, it is almost impossible for those people to remain silent. It's almost impossible. So that would be absolutely impossible.
No.
Secondly,
so here's
I think it's either right or wrong. And
I'll tell you why. Where is the difference? Okay?
There are no compromises. I think it's either right or wrong. That's it.
Okay, so here's the difference, okay? If as a dictator, because I would have such a full power, right?
But you wouldn't, because, again, it's Israel.
Okay, but it's my world. I want to be a perfect dictator. Why are you so annoying? You said you're going to support me, and suddenly you're being a Jew.
Welcome to Israel.
Yeah, I know, right? Anyway, I thought October 7th would happen, and I was relieved when it happened because I thought it's going to be a lot worse. That's what I thought.
I
And
was
if I
also
were a
thought something about what's going to
dictator,
happen.
okay, so if I were a dictator, meaning I would actually have control on it, right? The way that the Israel was and the mentality that Israelis had, even if I had perfect control, I would have let it happen. Maybe
You wouldn't have to. If you had perfect control, you could just attack Gaza. You wouldn't have need to change anyone's mind.
Well, you're right. Anyway, whatever. I'm gonna let it happen. Because I think it was a. I'm sorry, but when you are idiots, you get what
See,
idiots get.
you're the dictator of just one Jew and already have a headache. Just one Jew and already I'm giving you a headache.
Because the conclusion
And we have the same
is
ideology.
Conclusion. I disagree. I think it was the best day that it happened to us. It was God saved us on that day.
I very strongly disagree because you could have attacked first. You didn't need any kind of
No, you
disaster
couldn't.
for it.
Oh, really? That's nice thinking.
That's what I would have done. And I don't mind living like North Korea for 5 years or 10 years if we actually win that thing.
Terror worldwide. Rebecca sent Uri to prison. Well, you wouldn't let me because you're so opinionated. Just trust me, okay?
Everyone is opinionated. That's the problem.
So because the more you are infiltrate different areas like I did, the more I realized the more I like Netanyahu. Listen, everything else would have been worse. I really do think so.
Look, no one should be the prime minister for so much
you
time.
Said like the idiot one-eyed guy, right? That the American got angry with. By the way,
we're talking about Moshe Dayan. I think.
Yeah, I was about to say that. People should at least know who we are talking about. The idiot Moshe Dayan. Yes. Anyway, yeah. Yeah. So if that's the people you have to deal with, I'm sorry. This is what the people you deserve.
Yeah, but saying that he is what we deserve, it doesn't mean he's a good prime minister. It means that we are shitty people.
Exactly. Don't you know the saying? The leader of a people are the face or are the projection of a generation. We get what we deserve.
I know a different saying. Every nation has the leader it deserves, but I want to be better.
So the I don't remember, but it's in Hebrew. I think it's originally in Hebrew. So basically, you cannot have.
הציבור מטומטם, לכן הציבור משלם.
No, not this one. Not this one. פני המנהיג כפני הדור. The thing is that you have a problem, right? You cannot have a leader that doesn't reflect his population, right? And if the population, you cannot have a leader that is better than the population. Just by definition, it's impossible. So considering the idiocracy,
I'm not sure I follow. Can he have a leader who is what?
Who is better than the population, or the leader reflects the population. You cannot have something that the population doesn't deserve.
Well, I can have the Italians had Garibaldi, one of the greatest leaders in the history, and honestly, the people back then were pretty backward.
Okay, and the Brits.
It appears we have lost.
No, I didn't lose it. I flipped my my pad too fast, and it just closed the. Anyway, I'm back. So yeah, okay, and I was about to say that the stupid Brits got Queen Elizabeth as well. So sometimes you get lucky, but
British had many great leaders. The British people historically, they were known for their very high quality government bureaucracy, especially during the empire.
But I think the Queen Elizabeth was on another level.
If you look at their history, you have Disraeli, Churchill, Henry VIII. They had many very interesting leaders.
I know.
Israel was always unlucky in this regard. Like last time we had like a very interesting leader was Herod.
God, nobody likes. I think nobody likes Herod. Though. Here's the thing: you want people who are more dictatorial, but you have an annoying personalities. So you need to be aware of yourself before.
I don't want people who are more dictatorial. I want a direction.
Sweetheart, that's dictatorial.
No, a dictator is the one who
in
Israel,
having a direction is a dictatorial thing.
Israel never had a dictatorship, so we just don't know. If anything, Israel is too democratic. That was always the problem. Mob rule.
No. Listen. I tell you, okay? Let me help you.
Okay, so we spoke earlier about organizing a movement against Qatar. So how do you market it to people?
Okay. How? Wait. I wanted to show this clip actually more than how do we market it? I think for that we have a need to have a think tank.
Right.
It says never we had kings before. Yeah, the kings had a very limited amount of power.
No, I'm talking about Israel. Like the Jewish people had literal dictators, like the Hashmonaim. They weren't originally kings. They were,
but they weren't.
They were presidents.
Yeah.
Like the first who was actually a king was the father of Alexander Yanai, and earlier than that they were Nesi'im.
Yeah,
Their title was Nasi. It means president, and they had Chever HaYehudim, which was like a parliament. So it was like a fake republic. So Jews did have dictators, but Israel, the state of Israel, never had. I guess Ben Gurion was kind of a dictator for a while.
Ben Gurion was a little bit of a dictator, yes.
Yeah, so I'd say like the only dictator Israel ever had was Ben Gurion for a limited period of time.
Yeah, and it was a very.
Jews, they had only dictators.
The what?
The ancient Jews, they only had dictators. Like Alexander Yanai,
yeah, but we don't know.
A tyrant. Like
yeah,
he would describe himself as a tyrann.
That means he was probably not a real dictator. This is how pathetic the situation with the Jews is.
They
like
had
you have
a civil war.
If I know exactly, like Jews are crazy. Anyway, Uri, you're proving the point. We get what we deserve. Okay, that's my point. All right.
So that's not a defense of Bibi. That's an indictment of us.
That's the reality, exactly. So you know what the saying, fix yourself first.
I think part of fixing ourselves is electing a better government.
There is not going to be nothing better, because the leader will always reflect the people. The people suck. Fix the people, then you're going to get a better
The leader reflects a group of people. Like Trump doesn't reflect all Americans. He reflects some Americans.
Okay,
the leader can't reflect
everyone.
And
in general, all of us suck. So you don't have a big enough group of people who don't suck here. So
I guess like in Gaza, you can have a leader who will reflect everyone because there is no diversity of opinion.
Oi. Are you trying to prove my point?
I don't agree with you. I think that we can change.
You disagree with me, but I agree with that we can change, but first we need to change. Uli, are you here?
Yes.
Anyway,
yes.
we need to listen to the smart American and his word of God.
Mm-hmm.
Thousands.
Maybe he should be the dictator.
Thousands upon thousands of people inside of Gaza did that. Not one or two, thousands. The fact that Israel has not wiped that entire place off the map is appalling to me.
I agree.
Watching that.
Again. We're talking about Gaza and the fact that they're monsters. For those who missed it. So I'm going to go back a little bit more. Again, for those who didn't hear it.
Don't know which scene was more horrific that I saw today. but probably for the sake of humanity, I would say that the most grotesque thing out of all of it wasn't even the armed terrorists that were doing this. It was the people inside of Gaza openly celebrating it, dragging on bodies, spitting on bodies. And when I say people, by the way, when I say people, I mean young children were doing this alongside their parents. I mean, fathers, listen to the words out of my mouth. Fathers took their children to go see dead Jews, and not all of them were Jews, by the way. Fathers took their children to go beat and spit on bodies and praise God. I got to say that again. Fathers took their young children to go beat, spit on bodies, and praise God for that. Now, these are the same people, by the way, those people that did that. And it's not just one or two. It wasn't just a couple hundred here. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people inside of Gaza did that. Not one or two, thousands. The fact that Israel has not wiped that entire place off the map is appalling to me after watching that. One of the biggest concerns that I voiced today I don't know how to say this. One of the biggest concerns that I voiced today is what happens with the Palestinian people in Gaza following all of this. What do? We all know Israel has been shaping Gaza City, hasn't really gone in on the ground yet and actually started laying the hammer down, right? So you're doing your shaping operations going into Gaza City. But when all of that is said and done, and God willing, they get every single one of these hostages back, I'm telling you, man, first responder, you ain't seen this. Even like, I mean, picture the worst mass shooting in the United States. Doesn't even come close to this. Not even close. So for anybody to sit here, and by the way, this is a stone's throw away from where I'm at. How the hell do you live with that waiting on the other side of your border? That's just sitting there. And the answer is you don't. There's not a single American that would accept that inside Mexico. There's not a single American that would accept that from Canada. Hell, we went to war for 20 years because someone flew a couple airplanes into our buildings, right? Horrible attack. And I look at this like right after 9/11 and what just happened there. And it absolutely disgusts me that we can have a global war on terror for as long as we did. And then our ally in the Middle East that is being that had one of the most horrendous freaking things that I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen some shit. I've seen some real shit in my day. How you ignore that is beyond me. I've asked about the rape kits being done. People are saying that rape didn't exist. Yes, it did. Rape happened. Rape kits were done on bodies. Rape kits were turned into the UN. I'm waiting on figures from the PAO to get me exact numbers of said rape kits right now. That was done. Report actually got published back in June. Nobody even knows about it. I haven't even had a chance to read it yet. Demonic doesn't begin to explain this. This is what happens when you leave radical Islam unchecked. And I think probably the craziest thing, I think before any president of any world leader, before any world leader decides to let these people into their country, they need to watch what I just watched. I actually think they need to watch it twice before they ever think about subjecting their civilians to those people. All fine and dandy. We're giving them food, sending them in water. Definitely not turning the other cheek, not turning a blind eye. Heard a story from somebody that interrogated
All right. So thank you, Mark Gudotti, for your support. iPatch Dayan was not an idiot. You say this proves why Jews are very annoying. Thank you for your support, though. No 124 cannot pay bills. Geopolitics is an escape. Is that a Tinder profile? Thank you. All right. Any words? You said you have to.
So, as I said, for me, this video is, first of all, an indictment of Israeli society, of Israel. It shows that we did not respond correctly. And right now, it seems that what most Israelis support is just another Oslo. Like what Bibi is bringing from Washington is just another Oslo. We will give them economic development, we will give them peace, and they will become more civilized, and then we will have peace. It shows that this foreign man understands the situation. He reached the correct conclusions. And unfortunately, we as a society, as a people, did not. And I think it's very important. So I think we should look inside and see what we can learn about ourselves from this video.
To this day, Amalek is our greatest sin.
Your what?
The sin of Amalek. To this day, it's our greatest sin.
Yes.
And I think until we correct that sin, we'll be cursed.
Even before with the other Canaanites, Joshua ben Nun, he didn't have like the UN, he didn't have Trump, he didn't have Europe. It was on him, like the Jewish people, when they were 100% independent. And that's even in our mythology. They didn't do what had to be done. So I think we have to look inside and understand why do we keep doing the same thing again and again. And this guy is showing us the way, he's dictating to us where we should go, how we should change. Yes. So yeah, that's my conclusion from this very interesting video, a very sad video.
Yep, 100%. Like and Amalek especially. Like if you read the description of who they were, who they are,
yes.
It's like it's a sin. The land was supposed to be salted and nothing was allowed to be taken, and they were supposed to be exterminated because it was a crime against humanity to leave them. To let them
and
live.
Even so we can't blame anyone else.
I agree, it's a crime against humanity, but in the end of the day you need to have people on the ground who will do the work. So it's
yes, as I said, so we need to understand why.
Not something that you just need to give a comment to do. That's unfortunately the reality of it.
That's what I said. We need to change. We need to become different. I don't know if it's possible. Maybe we are who we are. As you said, maybe it's our genetics. But we definitely should look into it, think about it.
Yeah, I think we need to.
So that's my conclusion.
100%.
Well,
I think.
So that's it. I think now would be a good time to go read the details of the very strange proposal Trump is making, our new Oslo.
Oh, come
Study
on.
it a little.
You know, let the Arabs.
It's what Oslo Gimel, Oslo Dalet. I'm losing count.
They're calling it this. That. I'm sorry, I'm done my back.
No, they're not calling it, but that's how I'm calling it, because it is Oslo. It's just another Oslo.
I agree. I just, pray for the Arabs to do their part,
Oh, the Hamas will refuse. I'm absolutely sure about it.
So, yeah.
But maybe other Arabs will agree to it. I don't know.
Arabs
The PLO will definitely agree to it.
Yeah. Well, the PLO lost legitimacy.
Someone responded, the third Oslo plague.
It's
well.
But that's what the people. This is the reality. Until the people need to change.
Yes.
You cannot get what you don't deserve. I'm sorry.
I completely agree. The question is, how do we explain this? And how do we get rid of Qatar? It goes together.
I think so.
That is the way to reach enlightenment.
I think so.
Okay, so.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Uri, for joining me.
It's been great fun. And see you after Yom Kippur.
All right. Yes.
I apologize for nothing.
Amazing. Good night, everybody.
Laila tov.